Cyberpunk 2077 on a Nintendo Switch 2? That was the question on everyone's mind when Nintendo revealed during the recent Nintendo Direct that CD Projekt Red's AAA RPG was getting a Switch 2 port. So, to try and answer that question, Nintendo invited us to a Switch 2 hands-on event in London where we were able to play Cyberpunk 2077 on a Switch 2 in both docked and in handheld mode. Just want to caveat by saying that we were only given 15 minutes in docked mode and 15 minutes in handheld mode. So these are very initial first impressions of what I thought of Cyberpunk 2077 on Switch 2. So, how does it run? Let's take a look. First, docked mode. Even though the Switch 2 can output 4K 60 FPS in docked mode, the CD Projekt Red developer at the event confirmed to me that Cyberpunk 2077 on Switch 2 understandably does not run at 4K in docked mode. In fact, they confirmed the game runs at 1080p, targeting 40 FPS in performance mode, with the game running in 1080p in quality mode, but targeting 30 FPS. In performance mode, it was hard to pinpoint exactly as there was no FPS counter, obviously, at all. But I would say that it was a playable experience. Obviously, it depends on what kind of experience you're used to, but I'd say it's around about 30 to 20 FPS with some dips as you travel in a car or enter more congested areas. In terms of image quality, it was clear that some DLSS was used, but honestly, overall, it was pretty decent, especially considering this was a 7-week-old build of the game. In quality mode, when docked, the image quality was, as you'd expect, a little bit better, but there was also a fair bit of jittering, stuttering, and to me, it seemed more like 15 to 20 FPS in docked quality mode. Again, for me, it was playable, and that's okay for a game like Cyberpunk 2077, but it's definitely subjective, and people used to playing this game on PC obviously will absolutely notice the difference. Now, let's talk about Cyberpunk 2077 in handheld mode on Switch 2. In performance mode, the game runs at 720p and targets 30 to 40 FPS, while in quality mode, it runs at 1080p and is targeting 30 FPS. Instantly, I could see that the console is relying heavily on DLSS technology to try and make it run as smoothly as possible, as you'd expect. And this was clear to see in some weird graphical anomalies, like there's a light on the back of the car, which is meant to be a clear horizontal static line, but it just kept flickering constantly whether I was in quality or performance in the handheld mode. You could also tell, especially when you were in a car going at speed, there was some weird stuff going on with billboards, lights, trees. It was nowhere near as smooth as you'd expect as it was in docked mode. Going into both modes, in performance mode, it ran adequately, and although it was only 720p, it was pretty smooth for the most part, although it did struggle in denser areas and when driving at speed, but I'd say average, it was around 15 to 20 FPS in performance mode. Again, hard to say, but that's how it felt during my session anyway. In quality mode, the graphical quality obviously was better from jumping from 720 to 1080, but the DLSS impact, particularly on that backlight on the vehicle, could be seen really clearly, and especially when traveling at speed, and there were some real dips and stuttering throughout. Plus, I did notice that during our session, we could only explore around Dogtown, which is the new area introduced in the Phantom Liberty DLC. And even the market area, which is full of NPCs, the game did feel a lot more empty. There was a lot fewer people around in that market area and less cars overall on the roads. I guess this has been done considering the performance hit, which is to be expected. Overall then, I think for Cyberpunk 2077 to be running on a Nintendo console at all is pretty insane. And although it wasn't the greatest experience, I mean, would you expect it to be at this stage? Clearly more optimization needs to be done before launch, but in docked mode at least, I had a pretty good time. In handheld mode, you can see it struggles a lot more, but this is a huge, graphically demanding AAA title, and that they do have more time to work on it before launch. Do you play Cyberpunk 2077 with this experience that you've seen in this video? Let us know in the comments. I mean, for me, I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to is this game playable or not, but you might have your own thoughts. So let us know in the comments what you think, and if you're looking forward to playing this game on the Switch 2 when it comes out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.